Welcome to Every Movie I've Ever Seen. This is a special Fuck You It's January edition, where throughout the month of January, I'm going to be reviewing bad movies, particularly bad movies with a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. The movie that I'm going to be talking about today is Dark Tide. This is a 2012 movie starring Halle Berry. It's about sharks. Halle Berry plays a shark lady who does shark things. She gets in water with sharks and swims around them. She likes sharks. And then early in the movie, her friend who goes in the water with her, he dies. And so she doesn't want to do shark things anymore. And she's doing other things, and her other things that she's doing isn't very successful, and she's not making a lot of money, and her other things that she's doing may close down. So another old friend knows this and is trying to convince her to take this rich guy and his son out to do shark things, but she's like, no, I don't do shark things anymore. And apparently she's the only one who does this particular shark thing. And so the rich guy and his son, they're like, come on, we'll pay you to help us do shark things. Because that's 100% something a complete amateur should do, is swim with sharks. What could possibly go wrong? And she's like, no, I don't want to do it. And then they're like, fine, we won't do it. We'll just go out and we'll just go out on the boat and we'll look at sharks from the boat, and we totally won't go in. Wink, wink. And she believes them, and they go out, and then bad things happen. I think I fell asleep during most of this movie, and I wasn't about to watch it again. And there's no synopsis on Wikipedia. I assume people get eaten by sharks. Probably wouldn't be a very good shark movie if that didn't happen. This is the second shark movie I've talked about. Apparently shark movies aren't very good, because, well, I don't know if I can compare this to Jaws 4. I think Jaws 4 had its own problems. Although, interestingly enough, besides just both being shark movies, that was a bad sentence, I also, something else that these two movies share in common, Deep Tide and Jaws 4, is I kind of question if I really even saw these movies. I'm not entirely sure if I saw Jaws 4 or just saw a lot of clips for Jaws 4. And I'm not entirely sure if I saw all of this movie either. I mean, I feel like I definitely didn't. I mean, I definitely fell asleep maybe 30 minutes into it. I got the gist. It didn't captivate me in the first 30 minutes. I'm not going to be missing anything in the following hour. I'll say, it reminds me of, I remember when I was watching X-Files. When I would watch X-Files, this was back when X-Files was on Netflix. It used to be on Netflix, then it got switched over to Hulu. So now it's got ads, which is unfortunate. But when I was watching X-Files on Netflix, I would lay on my couch and I'd have a blanket and I'd be watching X-Files. And Netflix would just keep playing X-Files. So eventually what would happen is I would fall asleep watching X-Files, and I would wake up and there would be the Netflix, are you still watching? Yes, no. But at that point, I had no idea how many I had slept through, because it doesn't immediately go to that. You could watch a good 3 or 4 episodes before it asks you if you're still alive. So I had no idea how many I had watched or didn't see. All I know was that episode 6 was the next one, so I guess I'm watching episode 6. I don't know if I watched 4 or 5. I mean, I just watched. You know, it's not like, okay, I've seen this episode. I mean, the only episode that I know for sure that I watched was like 7 episodes ago. I think I saw episode 6. I think I saw most of episode 5. I don't know about these other ones, but I'm not going to go back and watch them again in case I did watch them, so I'll just keep on going. X-Files is a fine show. The X-Files has an annoying thing where it's kind of like nothing substantial really ever happens in an X-Files episode. How an X-Files episode will work is it'll open up and someone's in the woods and dies, right? And then it'll cut to them, Mulder and Scully, and they're like, oh, we got this case. Mulder will be like, oh, I think it's a werewolf. And Scully's like, it's not a werewolf. Werewolves don't exist. There's a perfectly logical explanation for what's going on. And, throughout the episode, they'll argue about this. And then eventually, as the episode progresses, it's looking a little bit more and more like it could be a werewolf. But Scully's not backing down like, no, you can explain this, you can explain this, you can explain this. And then the episode will just end. And you won't ever actually know if it was really a werewolf or not. You think like, oh, maybe it was a werewolf, maybe it wasn't a werewolf. We'll never know. We're just going to move on to the next episode. It's about an inbred family. So, and then after that, you're going to get a mythology episode where you'll just get confusing answers about aliens that may or may not be answers at all. Shit about a flask, some underground bunker full of files. Maybe Krychek's in it. If you're lucky, Krychek is in it, then at least you'll be in for an interesting episode. Smoking Man will be in the background smoking. That's what he does. He smokes and talks about Mulder. I don't know why they don't just kill this guy. And then I think it gets really annoying because season 10, which is the first new season when they're old, season 10, the big reveal is that there was no conspiracy. And then that the last 9 seasons were fake. Because the big reveal at the end of season 9, I believe season 9 is called The Truth. This is supposed to be the big reveal where they find out everything and whole conspiracy unmasked. Mulder hadn't been in the show for the last 2 seasons. Scully hadn't been in the show for the last season, but they're back. I think Robert Patrick and whatever her name was, Monica Reyes is the character she plays. I don't remember the actress's name, but they're probably in it. They're not doing anything. But Skinner's in it, of course. Smoking Man is revealed to be alive after Krychek killed him. And Krychek is in it as like a ghost. But anyway, I think Mulder's standing trial through this episode with Charles Widmore from Lost. Alan Dale I believe he's a alien in this. Gibson says like, oh, he's an alien, and they're like, get Gibson out of here. Gibson's like the bald kid, I think, who's like psychic or something. So anyway, Mulder finds out what the conspiracy is, and the conspiracy is that, boy, do I even remember? I think it's that the aliens plan to eradicate, to colonize Earth, and they're going to use a virus to do this, and that's going to happen in 2012, and the government side of this is the government wants to make a immunity to the illness that will colonize Earth, and they want to like help the aliens while also not helping the aliens at the same time. So that was kind of the point of the show. This was the truth that Mulder was looking for the entire series. And then season 10 comes along, and Mulder finds like, oh no, the government made all that shit up to mess with me, apparently, and none of that was real. It's just, the whole conspiracy is the government's gonna release a alien virus to, cull the population a little bit. Wait a second. Yeah. And then they backtrack again, because in season 11, they're like, oh no, that stuff that happened in season 10, some of that stuff was a dream, and that didn't really happen. But they still want to do the releasing the virus thing, but that episode where they did release the virus, that was just Scully having a dream. But we're not going to focus on the releasing the virus thing. We're going to focus on their kid. Because he's old now, and he has powers or something. And we're going to kill cigarette smoking man again. But he's really dead this time. He was really dead when Krychek pushed him down some stairs. He was also really dead when he got exploded by a missile. But now Mulder shot him in the chest a couple times and didn't bother to go look for his body. So he's totally dead. You'd think cancer would get him eventually, but no, he's like a cockroach. Skinner may be dead too, but probably not. I believe he got hit by a car after he just killed Annabeth Gish, is her name. I remember it now. She's evil for some reason, and he just shoots her and she dies. Just like a main character on the show for 2 seasons, we're just going to randomly kill her off because no one really liked those 2 seasons anyway. You can't get Robert Patrick. He can't be bothered to come back. He's too busy going to be in the new Terminator that they're making. For some reason they're making another Terminator movie. Why are they still making Terminator movies? That makes no sense to me. But Robert Patrick's back in this one, so it's definitely going to be good, right? Yeah, but then they're probably not going to make any more X-Files anyway, because I don't think Gillian Anderson wants to be in them anymore. Is it Jillian? I think it's Jillian. That was silly of me to say if it was not Gillian. Jillian. But what they should do is if Chris Carter's bored and wants to make a TV show, he should reboot Millennium with Lance Henriksen. Bring him back. That was a good show. He's a good actor. I would watch a reboot of Millennium. And since it exists in the X-Files universe, you could, bring back some of the X-Files characters. Skinner could be in 2 or 3 episodes of the new Millennium show. Mulder could have a cameo. Good excuse to have Terry O'Quinn back on TV. You can never have enough Terry O'Quinn. Yeah. Millennium was like the darker X-Files. They had the Lone Gunman TV show too. I never saw that. I believe the girl from Lost is in it. Like Zuleika Robinson, I believe her name is. She was in it. She plays Alana in the show Lost. The girl who randomly gets blown up by dynamite in season 6. Just a random character who appeared out of nowhere in season 5, and she's a main character in season 6, I believe, and then until she gets blown up by dynamite, and then you never really see her again. But yeah, that's all I've got to say about Dark Tide.